Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company today and put farm-raised beef on your family's table. Looking for farm-fresh beef for your family? Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company has you covered. Choose from a whole, half, or a quarter beef, or purchase individual packaged cuts. Our cattle are locally raised, and your beef is processed at a trusted local facility for quality you can taste. Best of all, your order is picked up and hand-delivered locally right to your door by Eddie Whitehurst. Call Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company today and put farm-raised beef on your family's table.
Ready for your next beach getaway? Discover the perfect vacation with Willock Condo Rentals. Enjoy beautiful beachfront condos in Navarre Beach and Panama City Beach, Florida. When you book directly with the owner, you'll pay no service fees, saving more money for fun in the sun. For over 15 years, Willock Condo Rentals has helped families create unforgettable beach memories with comfortable accommodations and breathtaking Gulf views. Start planning your next vacation today. Contact Willock Condo Rentals and experience the beach the way it was meant to be. Hungry? We've got you covered. Welcome to Bentley's Restaurant, Greer's Ferry's largest restaurant. Join us for breakfast and lunch every Tuesday and Wednesday, then come back Thursday through Saturday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. From homemade omelets and our Saturday breakfast buffet to fresh salads, daily lunch specials, and hand-cut ribeyes cut as big as you want them, there's something for everyone. Friday and Saturday nights are legendary with our seafood buffet featuring jumbo peel and eat shrimp, catfish, crawfish, and all your favorites. Plus, don't miss our delicious prime rib on Saturday nights and our crab leg dinner every Friday and Saturday. Whether you're joining us for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you'll always find great food, generous portions, and friendly service. Bentley's Restaurant in Greer's Ferry. Come hungry, bring your friends, and make every meal one to remember.
Are you a sports card collector? Then make your next stop Stan's Sports Cards in Greenbrier. Whether you're chasing vintage legends or today's hottest rookies, Stan's Sports Cards has something for every sports fan. Browse an incredible selection of sports cards, jerseys, memorabilia, and collectibles from your favorite teams and players. Looking to sell? Stan's Sports Cards is actively buying vintage and modern sports cards. Turn those cards sitting in a box into cash today. Visit Stan's Sports Cards at 26 South Broadview Highway. Are you a sports card collector? Then make your next stop.
Discover Little Red at Indian Hills, where good food, great views, and Arkansas hospitality come together in Fairfield Bay. Enjoy lunch or dinner with comfortable indoor seating, a relaxing outdoor patio, and barbecue available Thursday through Saturday. From golfers fresh off the course to locals and visitors alike, Little Red is the place to gather, eat well, and unwind. Little Red at Indian Hills. Good food, great views, and a Fairfield Bay favorite.
It's time for Lake Area Takes. Join longtime Lake Area sports broadcasters John Verser and Austin Gray as they dive into the biggest stories, hottest debates, and boldest opinions in sports. John and Austin bring their experience, insight, and plenty of takes. Lake Area Takes is proudly sponsored by Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company, Bentley's Restaurant, Willock Condo Rentals, Little Red Restaurant, and Stan's Sports Cards. Lake Area Takes with John Verser and Austin Gray, where local voices deliver big-time sports talk.
Welcome to Lake Area Takes, episode 3.
We're still on the air.
And we're still on the air. Hard to believe, but thanks for joining us. Lake Area Takes with John Verser and Austin Gray. And we have had a lot of fun so far through our first couple of weeks, and we're going to just let the good times roll and just keep on going. And we got another good guest this week. We've had a pretty good lineup so far. We had a couple of great guests to get us started, and we're just going to keep that rolling as well. And probably one of the cooler stories coming out of the lake right now is Riley Hooten. She was a very talented player for Quitman. within the past decade, and now she is not only a high school basketball referee, but she refs some college as well. So we're going to talk to Riley for a little bit and find out her story. So Riley, are you still with us?
I am. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Thanks for joining us on the show today.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm really happy to do this for you guys, and I'm glad you do something like this.
Yeah, we thought it'd be I don't remember whose idea it was originally to.
Us just yapping at the end of basketball.
We just talk during basketball games a lot when games get ugly, and I guess somebody was dumb enough to let us have a chance to just sit and do it for an hour and a half. But I want to ask you, first off, you started, we'll get to the refereeing in a little bit, but just kind of tell everybody a little bit when you played at Quitman, and we know that you had some pretty good success on some good teams there. So talk a little bit about your time at Quitman as a player.
So I moved to Quitman my 8th grade year. I played my 7th grade year before at Bigelow. Playing at Quitman probably made me a better basketball player than I ever would have been anywhere else. Just the mentality here was, everyone wanted to win, and they weren't winners before, and it was just fun. We had a great time. Playing in Quitman made me physically, mentally tougher. Just the competitive nature just around Quitman has been great. That's just helped me and in my high school career get better. So I really enjoyed being in Quitman.
And not just the success on the basketball court, but I was looking back at some of the things. In your junior year, you won state in cross country, basketball, and track. So what was that year like?
Honestly, that year I think was such a whirlwind for all of us. So when we started cross country my freshman year, it was my freshman year. We were decent. It was just 5 girls, and we just went out and ran. My dad was like, "Hey, we're gonna run cross country," and we're just okay, we're gonna go run in some fields, and great. No, but every year we got better. We had really great freshman girls that moved up that year in 2017. They actually are the ones why we were able to win the cross country, those freshman girls. And then, without them, we wouldn't have been able to win our basketball championship. They would come in at around 7 o'clock in the morning when we had our practice, scrimmage us from 7 to 7:30 before they had to go to class, and we would stay in our basketball class and keep on practicing. So those freshman girls did a good job. Helps win cross country and basketball. The track was honestly a team effort. We had some girls on the track team that didn't play basketball. We had a couple girls that did play basketball on the track, and then that was basically it. It was just all a team effort, and I just can't believe how much success Quitman has had from all of that.
Well, we would be remiss while we're talking about your high school days. Obviously, the last name gives it away, and anyone who knows anything about Lake area sports would be living under a rock if they did not know Coach Hooten from Quitman, and that is obviously your dad. So what was it like not only just getting to play for your dad, but getting to continue to watch the success he's had after you've graduated?
So playing for my dad has probably been one of the best things for me. He was the one that pushed me to be mentally and physically tougher, especially on the mental side. He's a big person on having your brain being stronger than your body, having to push through pain even when you're hurting. You know, when we would run cross country, he would tell us, you got to beat the course in your time. And he goes, if you beat the course in your time, I'm proud of you. And I mean, playing for him with basketball, we had a love-hate relationship. I mean, he pushed me very hard, a lot harder than he did a lot of the other girls, which is expected if you're the coach's kid. But I mean, it was just a great time. I couldn't have asked for a better coach or a better high school career under him. After I graduated, I think I've become more emotional in the program than I was before. When I started refereeing, I was seeing different types of basketball. I wasn't just seeing what he wanted to do. And so our basketball conversations became more in depth. I would tell him, why are you running your zone defense on this? You should run a man defense. And we'd get into great conversations like that. We challenged each other as a player and a coach. There'd be times he would take me off the floor, chew my butt out, throw me back on. And it was like we never skipped a beat when we got home. I have a funny story to tell with him. This was my junior year, so this is the year we won our championship. We had a game in Quitman. I think it was the state tournament, if I remember right. It's been so long ago, I kind of blurred a lot of the games out. But he really was getting on to me hard that game and the normal stuff, like I need to get more rebounds, need to get the ball to Reagan, our post player. And I'm over here just like, I am doing all that. Why is he getting on my butt so hard? And anyways, that game just wasn't good for either one of us. And after any game, I would batter good, win or loss, doesn't matter. I would always ride home with them on the bus, on the car ride back home. It didn't matter. But that game though, for some reason, I was like, I'm not riding back home with you. Like, I need my space from you. Like, I'll see you when you get to the house. And I immediately left with my mom, and which, again, rarity. I never rode with my mom. And we got home, did all the things I normally do after a basketball game. And about 2 hours later, he comes home. I hear a knock on my door, and he goes, hey, kid. He goes, I don't care what your coach told you tonight. I think you played a heck of a game. And I was just like, you can't do that to me. You can't. I'm like, you can't be dad right now and then coach the rest of the time. I'm like, pick one. But no,
like,
I'm
supposed to be mad at you right now.
Yeah. Oh, I don't usually cry, but he made me cry after that one. I was like, you mess with my emotions too much.
Did you ever feel like?
No, Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was just saying, did you ever feel, as the oldest, did you ever feel like you were kind of the guinea pig of all your two younger sisters that also played for you?
So I only have one younger sister, but I do have older siblings.
Oh, sorry. I mixed kids up. Sorry.
No, you're good. Everyone thought Nikki and I were sisters, but it was funny. Nikki has her younger sister, and I have my younger sister. So,
okay.
But Taylor actually, I will say, was the more naturally better player than I was. Like, I had to work for everything. So my dad did not have to push her as hard to get better. I mean, like, he showed her a drill, boom, she had it mastered. And I was over here, like, struggling with it. So anytime, like, yes, I was the guinea pig, I guess, for all the other girls, because it just, like I said, Taylor had it really easy because it came to her naturally, where I had to push.
No, I'm not a player, coach's kid by any means. So as a coach's kid, and I mean, those of us who remember you as a player, I mean, you were a fantastic player. But as a coach's kid, do you feel like you have to show everybody that, yeah, I've got it, so that it doesn't look like it's a nepotism thing of I'm just coach's kid getting playing time? is that like a mental thing of, you know, I don't want anybody thinking that I'm just out here because I'm Coach Hooten's daughter. Like, I got to show them that I'm out here because I'm one of the 5 best players on the floor.
Correct. And that's what my dad would always say. He's like, I'm not going to play you because you're my daughter. He goes, you got to earn your spot. And that's why he always pushed me harder than everyone else, because he was just like, if you're going to play for me and if you're going to start, you got to be one of the better players on the court. And which was a great thing, because he challenged me so much in the game of basketball that I was his floor general for him. So, like, when girls were confused, when we couldn't get a timeout, they would come to me, what are we doing? Like, how do we do this? And I would tell them. And, like, there would be times where he would take a timeout and get onto us about we're not running this play right. And I would tell him, well, that's not the defense they're running. They're running a zone or a box and one. And he'd be like, shoot, I didn't see that. Okay, let's do this. And he'd draw up a different offense, and off we went. So, I mean, like I said, he really pushed me hard, as I've said multiple times, I feel like. But, I mean, that's all it was push, 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 go, go, go. You got to be stronger. You got to be faster. And like I said, that is what has helped me most in my career from graduating equipment, has just been the stuff he has instilled into me to do. And it's just made life so much easier.
One last question about your dad. Do you think that he has the highest substitution rate per game of any coach in the state?
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Nobody subs like Coach Hooten.
I don't. Our game. Oh, sorry. What were you guys saying?
I said nobody substitutes like Coach Hooten. That's kind of always been the thing from people watching.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember if it was in our game or a game I was watching on television, but I saw him sub in a girl as soon as the tip happened. Like, something wasn't right, and he just threw a girl in, and I was like, oh, well, 2 seconds. That's a record.
That's a record.
Yeah, it's got to be a record. As we kind of talk about your next phase and moving to officiating, what kind of things did you learn just from playing and then from your dad as well that has helped you in officiating basketball?
So the thing that has truly helped me with officiating basketball is I've grown up with it. I mean, Dad took me to his practices ever since I was in the baby holder, whatever that thing is called. But like, just basketball never stopped at our house. And there'd be nights when I was in elementary school where he would still be up watching his varsity boys basketball game. And I would always ask him, like, can I watch with you? And he'd be like, yeah, come on. And we would just talk basketball and just the different strategies and just players and just anything related to basketball. That is what has helped me just understand the game better as a player and as an official. I mean, I feel like a lot of people don't truly study the game anymore. And so just having all that base knowledge from the 18 years of living with my parents has been the reason why I can officiate as good as I can.
So obviously you keep talking about having to have mental, when you played, mental toughness, and everybody knows that probably a profession in sports where you need to have a lot of mental toughness is an official, because you guys hear it left and right, in front of you, behind you, all the time. How do you, I know every ref's different, but how well can you block things out around you? And what's your secret to just shutting all the extra noise out and only focusing on the 10 on the floor?
So for me, I've always been, as everyone knows, well, the reffing officials know, I've always been an introvert. So when people listening to the outside noise has never bothered me. Even on the floor, like when we played Earl here in our Final Four in 2017, I look back at those pictures and I don't remember seeing all those people that were in the stands. To me, the gym was quiet the whole time we played. It's just, I look at it this way. Well, I've lost my train of thought on that one, but just the mental part of it, why I keep saying like my dad pushed me to be mentally tough is because I, as a child, was not mentally tough. Like anything that hurt me, I was like, nope, I'm done. Thank you. But this has been an opportunity for me to, in the officiating, been able to push myself mentally harder than I ever thought I could, because there is a lot of outside noise of just like people saying how bad you are, how you're a homer, you're cheating us. And I'm over here just like, you hear that noise still, but I'm like, I get paid the same no matter what. I don't care who wins. I don't care much buy. Just like, I just want my paycheck and a good basketball game and I'm out.
There you go.
But like, I don't know. It's just, yeah, like I said, mentally, like this part has been really easy for me. Because honestly, the things people say, I'm like, my dad has said worse to me. Like, you can't hurt my feelings.
So at what point, and then how did you get into officiating at the college level?
So I got into officiating with high school. We were hosting a tournament and I was doing the clock, and I think it was the state tournament here. And I was running my mouth at the scores table saying, well, they missed that foul. Well, that was a travel. Just being a normal spectator. And not realizing that the alternate for the game, the official, was sitting right next to me. And his name was Buddy Porter, and I've worked a couple games with him, and he's a great guy. He turns and looks at me and goes, well, why don't you do this? And I was like, I will. Where do I sign up at?
There you go.
And so anyways, I signed up, got all that done. But started officiating 2 years of high school. And then I kept being told by a bunch of people, hey, you could probably make it in college. Like, you have the looks, you have the mentality, basketball, like, you should go out and do it. And I was like, okay, like, not really what I'm wanting to do, just wanting to kind of stay with high school because that's what's paying my bills right now, because I was a college student at the time. And they're like, no, you'll make more money in college. And I'm like, okay, I'll go try it out. So I tried it out, and I was like, dang, the basketball's better up here. And the pay was better too, I will admit that. But it just, when people were saying you can make a career out of this, I started listening to them and started going to more college camps and just started moving up. And I was working JUCO and NAIA my first couple years. I got hired in a D3 league. A couple years ago, I got hired in D2. And then last year, I finally got hired in D1. So, I mean, I'm just slowly working my way up, and hopefully I can keep getting bigger games, but it's just been a heck of a ride.
That's like a pretty quick progression from NAIA to Division I.
It was. So I'm trying to think. I've been reffing college. This will be my 6th year. So my 5th year in reffing college, I was already reffing D1.
That's awesome. Oh, wow. That's great.
So, yeah, I've had a lot of great supporters behind me. A lot of other people who have been in the officiating world longer, they've helped me and guided me how to get to where I wanted to be faster and how to officiate the game better, just all the little stuff that people don't think about. And that's what just truly helped me move up in the officiating world.
What's been the most challenging aspect of officiating so far for you?
Honestly, it's probably just all the rules that people don't know. And just I still ref high school and college, and the rules are different. And so, there was one game I messed up a college rule. I brought in a high school rule, and I was like, oh my gosh, I hope no one caught that. So separating the two has been a little bit hard, but I mean, the longer I've been in it, the easier it has become. It's just work a high school game one night and I go to a college game the next night. It's like, let's make sure I'm making college calls. They really look for in the women's they want you to call it by the finish. Like, can those girls finish the play while being fouled? So we have to have a little bit more patient whistle.
I think that I've got some ties at Central Baptist College in Conway, and I know that I've talked to Coach Heff and some of those people, and she's always told me that, you're one of the people that she kind of has a sigh of relief when she saw you step out, because she's like, I know Riley does a good job, and she's going to do, she's going to call a good game. And so I know that on the NAI level, the people that I know, you've got a lot of support from them. You said that, you've got D1 coming in this next year. So are you certain conferences are you tied into, kind of who's in those conferences? Where are you D1 college-wise? Where do you get to be this coming season?
So that is based on that's based on in a couple months what kind of games we will get. Last year I had 5 D1 games. I had a couple at UCA, A-State, and Little Rock. So, like I said, it just depends yearly on if you get those games or not. You have to go to camps. You have to it's kind of just like a job every year. You got to go to camps. You got to make sure you get hired back again. But so I was with the OVC, the ASUN, and the SWAC. I think it's the SWAC. I think so. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I was with all those conferences. They get a list of who their officials will be, and but like I said, it's you have to work for your spot. Like it's not just given to you. So I mean, I have to show myself at a camp here in the next couple of weeks to say, hey, keep me on staff, please.
What's something that's difficult about officiating that the average person may not know? Just someone watching a game. What's some of the more difficult things that people don't know about
it? What night? Like, for example, I'm just going to use these two teams since we know them so well. Like Quitman and Mount Vernon. Like in the girls' game, you're going to have a really good game. So you want to make sure, like, all right, we need to make sure that we are calling an even game, that, we're making sure that we're keeping good players in. It's just one of those things you're just like, there's more to the game. And, people think that we come in there wanting a team to win. I've had a couple people call me homers a homer at I think I was down in the Hot Springs area reffing a high school game, and they're like, well, we can tell you're from this school. And I'm like, I live an hour and a half away. I don't even know who these people are. And so it's just like the day-to-day deal of what are you going to hear from people? What are coaches going to say to you? How are players going to play for you? That's a big thing anymore. Like, I've tried talking to players before, and I'm like, hey, I don't need you grabbing this player like that. I need you to stay in the game. Like, I don't want to call that foul on you. And they'll look at me like I'm crazy, and I'm like, I'm just trying to help you. Like, I've been in your spot before.
Yeah.
So last couple of
But
questions. Yeah, last couple of
go ahead.
questions for you. Everybody's got obviously the few referees that we know that we've talked to. Referees want good games too. Nights can be boring when the games are ugly. Same thing for us. We talk about we hate those nights when we're broadcasting. Obviously, the more fun the game, the closer the game, the better it is. Is there a specific game, high school or college, that always pops in your mind when you think about that night, that game was one of the most fun games I've ever gotten to officiate? Is there any?
There is. So my favorite game so far, just off the top of my head, was the 2025 state championship game. I had Lamar versus Dover girls. Lamar ended up winning that game. But like my goal was, when I started officiating, I wanted to be back in Hot Springs. And when I finally got the opportunity to ref that finals game, like, I was so ecstatic. I was so nervous, but I kept telling myself, like, you've been in this game before. Like, you're just on the other side of it. And so that was a really fun game for me. I'm trying to think of any other games just I've had a real good time in. I mean, any state game is fun. The crowd's in it. Stakes are higher. You got to be more precise on your calls. So I've had 3 state tournaments the last 3 years, and those have all been really fun. I mean, I will have to say my first game ever was at Clinton, and that was probably one of the best times I had too, because I didn't know what I was doing. I was just out there blowing my whistle. Or sorry, I shouldn't say I was blowing my whistle. They kept telling me, Riley, we need you to blow your whistle. And I was like, hey, I'm just here right now. Like, I'm warming up. So no, it's every game I have. Like, there are some games where I love, and then other games just some of those harder games, you're like, oh goodness, I wish I didn't have that game tonight. That really drained my battery. But no, for the most part, I try to always find fun in all the games. And it just, like I said, if you're not having fun, don't do it.
And I wanted to ask you too, you mentioned earlier when you were talking about high school, you mentioned Reagan, and obviously now everyone who knows Quitman basketball knows she's on the bench with your dad now. How cool is it to see Reagan being assistant coach with your dad?
Oh my gosh, I love it. I mean, it's become full circle. She at first was really nervous when she started, because she's more emotional than I am, and she was like, I just want to make your dad proud. I just want to make sure I'm teaching the girls the right things. And I kept telling her, I'm like, Reagan, just teach them what you were taught. And last year was her first year. This year she really stepped up as an assistant coach. My dad bragged on her a bunch and said that she actually led a lot of the pre-games. And my dad was always just like, well, I have nothing to say. You heard her. Let's go play. And no, she's been a great help to my dad. I mean, she knows my dad's system. She knows, she's lived the Quitman. I'm going to just call it the Quitman dynasty under my dad. She knows what it's like to run cross country. She knows what it's like to weight lift, to not want to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning for practice, or come do a 8 o'clock at night shoot around. And so just for her to just help these girls and guide them too, just, I think, has been tremendous in this program.
All right. Well, before we let you go, this was a suggestion from our boss. So one thing we do every week on the show is, one of our sponsors is the Little Red Restaurant up in Fairfield Bay, and we give away a $25 gift certificate every single episode for someone who can get in the Facebook comments and leave our kind of like our code word for word of the week. And our boss's suggestion was to let you pick what this week's word of the week is before we let you go. So do you have a word that you want you can give us that we can make our viewers leave for the word of the week this week?
Oh man, I did not know this part of it.
In fairness, I didn't know either until about 10 minutes ago when he asked me to, when he said that we needed to ask you. So
you blame Jonathan.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So I can just come up with any word.
Any word.
I'm gonna go with the theme of this whole this video, and I'm gonna go with excellence. Or is that too hard of a word?
Excellence. I like it. Let's do it. So those of you out there watching, this week's code word, get in the comments and leave the word excellence and tag Little Red. And that is the word of the week chosen by Riley Hooten. And Riley, again, it's been great to have you on. You've been a great guest. And we'll be seeing you in a gym somewhere this fall.
Hopefully. I look forward to seeing you guys, and thank you for having me on. It's been a fun time, and sorry if I messed any of the questions up. I'm not a public speaker.
You did great.
You did a fantastic job. Thanks, Riley.
Guys, so have a good week.
You too.
Thank you. You too.
That's exciting. There's not many people, in the area who get to go on and do officiating on that kind of a level, and definitely not. I mean, she's still in her 20s.
Yeah.
Doing D1 refereeing, so that's cool.
That's this last, I guess the first 3 guests we've had show that whatever you do, whether it's softball from Jolie or announcing with Billy and now Riley today, is that as long as you put in the work and you do the things you're supposed to, you can do anything you want to from right here. So
exactly. So you heard her once again. Excellence is the word of the week. So get in the comments and leave excellence and tag Little Red Restaurant, and your name will be put in a drawing for a chance to win $25 gift certificate to Little Red. And we'll announce the winner next week. So we're going to hear from our sponsors once again, and we'll be back to keep the show going right after this here on Lake Area Takes.
Looking for farm fresh beef for your family? Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company has you covered. Choose from a whole, half, or a quarter beef, or purchase individual packaged cuts. Our cattle are locally raised, and your beef is processed at a trusted local facility for quality you can taste. Best of all, your order is picked up and hand-delivered locally right to your door by Eddie Whitehurst. Call Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company today and put farm-raised beef on your family's table.
Ready for your next beach getaway? Discover the perfect vacation with Willock Condo Rentals. Enjoy beautiful beachfront condos in Navarre Beach and Panama City Beach, Florida. When you book directly with the owner, you'll pay no service fees, saving more money for fun in the sun. For over 15 years, Willock Condo Rentals has helped families create unforgettable beach memories with comfortable accommodations and breathtaking Gulf views. Start planning your next vacation today. Contact Willock Condo Rentals and experience the beach the way it was meant to be. Hungry? We've got you covered. Welcome to Bentley's Restaurant, Greers Ferry's largest restaurant. Join us for breakfast and lunch every Tuesday and Wednesday, then come back Thursday through Saturday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. From homemade omelets and our Saturday breakfast buffet to fresh salads, daily lunch specials, and hand-cut ribeyes cut as big as you want them, there's something for everyone. Friday and Saturday nights are legendary with our seafood buffet featuring jumbo peel and eat shrimp, catfish, crawfish, and all your favorites. Plus, don't miss our delicious prime rib on Saturday nights and our crab leg dinner every Friday and Saturday. Whether you're joining us for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you'll always find great food, generous portions, and friendly service. Bentley's Restaurant in Greers Ferry. Come hungry, bring your friends, and make every meal one to remember.
Are you a sports card collector? Then make your next stop Stan's Sports Cards in Greenbrier. Whether you're chasing vintage legends or today's hottest rookies, Stan's Sports Cards has something for every sports fan. Browse an incredible selection of sports cards, jerseys, memorabilia, and collectibles from your favorite teams and players. Looking to sell? Stan's Sports Cards is actively buying vintage and modern sports cards. Turn those cards sitting in a box into cash today. Visit Stan's Sports Cards at 26 South Broadview, Highway 65, in Greenbrier, open Tuesdays through Fridays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Discover Little Red at Indian Hills, where good food, great views, and Arkansas hospitality come together in Fairfield Bay. Enjoy lunch or dinner with comfortable indoor seating, a relaxing outdoor patio, and barbecue available Thursday through Saturday. From golfers fresh off the course to locals and visitors alike, Little Red is the place to gather, eat well, and unwind. Little Red at Indian Hills. Good food, great views, and a Fairfield Bay favorite.
All right, welcome back to Lake Area Takes. So, you and I made a lot of friends last week.
Thank you to all the commenters.
Yes.
That's part of the deal about this is we would like a lively discussion and debate. You don't always have to agree with us, although we think we say the right things. But it's good to get a discussion going and talking about bettering the sport of high school basketball is what we were talking about this week or last week.
And you're right. It's, you want any debate is good debate.
Yes.
And any comment is a good comment. And you're exactly right. What we saw last week from our discussion about postseason is exactly what we wanted when we were talking about doing the podcast. Was we want people to watch clips, watch the whole episode, and then have a thought, and everybody
express their
thoughts because everybody thinks different. We're kind of going to piggyback off of last week a little bit, and so we may, maybe people will agree with us a little more this week, or not. So we talked a little basketball postseason last week. Is basketball season too long?
Yes, absolutely.
That was quick.
100%. I have thoughts.
Go ahead. I'm going to this week's on you. I'm going to step back and you share those thoughts with me.
Basketball season is too long, especially at the smaller school level that does not participate in fall sports, meaning volleyball, football, etc. Basketball for the smaller schools starts in October and ends in March if you're at state. So that means half the year, half the calendar year.
Over half of the school year.
Yes. Oh, well more than half the school year, maybe 2/3, but over half the calendar year, high school basketball is being played, and it is too long.
Well, let's face it, too. And I have a wife who's a teacher, and she has told me, season don't start till October for small schools, but basketball is in prime prepare mode, practice mode in August when they first get back to school. Might as well be August through March.
Yes.
It is just takes a huge portion of your school year up. And you're right, over half of your calendar year.
Yes. It is just, it goes on too long. I'm going to say it starts too early. We should not be playing in October. And I think that enough smaller schools now, we've got Viola and Norfolk just starting volleyball this year. So you're having fewer and fewer schools without some kind of fall sports activities.
Outside of golf, tennis, cross country.
But even those.
Yeah, even those, yes.
We have had to move a basketball game because of state cross country in the last couple of years.
Yep.
So there's enough activities going on that I think it's time the AAA should look at a uniform start date for everybody. And I know that's going to make a lot of people mad because there was a lot of basketball played from the middle of October
to Thanksgiving.
But I think it's time that enough smaller schools are moving into some different, fall sports. In our area, Equipment and Rosebud play volleyball. I think Midland plays volleyball. There's a lot of teams playing or schools playing volleyball now.
You got schools like B Branch starting 8-man football.
Yes, and Guy Perkins.
Guy Perkins.
So now, there's just a lot of activities going on, and you're giving these other schools an advantage, and I don't blame anybody for taking advantage of it. Of schools like Concord, Westside, Shirley, who can start in August practicing basketball and concentrating on it, where these other schools who now have volleyball or whatever, or football on the boys' side, you've got to concentrate on some other things for a while. And I think it's, if you want to have a well-rounded educational system, you've got to allow for these other activities, and you've got to make it fair for everyone. So I think it's, with a lot of these schools adding activities in the fall, we are well past the time that the AAA needs to look at a uniform start date for everyone, no matter of classification, no matter of fall activities, both when you can start practice and when you can start playing games.
I think that everybody is ready for you and me to disagree on something. This is not that week. I think that, putting a date in November, mid, late, whatever, post-Thanksgiving, week after, maybe that's what it is, week after Thanksgiving break, and everybody 1 through 6A starts basketball at the same time. I think that is a fine idea. Going into the first week of March is okay, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, whether you plan to or not, you probably will have to due to winter weather somewhere or another. But I think that, other schools, the big schools do it. And you look at when the season gets to the end and you look at all these 1A, 2A schools, they have records of, good teams finish with records of like 32-6. And they're played nearly 40 games. But then, you have these higher classification schools who in a good season go 16-4, 15-4, and they haven't even played 20, and they're okay, And so I don't think there's anything wrong with that being kind of your uniform number of games for even through 1A. And for everybody who instantly wants to say, well, 1A, 2A, these little small schools, they don't have football, so what are they supposed to do? You just said it. They have fall sports.
People are doing not just fall sports, but fall activities. You're another club, especially in the small schools. If you've got someone involved in a lot of things, the involved kids are involved in a lot of things, not just sports.
Very rarely are there basketball players, athletes that are only basketball players. These guys participate, fall festivals at every school, and they do all these kinds of fall activities, and a lot of them play other sports. They run cross country, they play golf, they play tennis, they play volleyball. And those seasons, and I know because I played golf, those seasons are crammed into this little small window of time because of basketball.
Yes.
And playing
on the other end, you've got
baseball and softball
and track
that cram at the end of a year. And, for the end of the year, maybe you can wrap season up earlier and kind of give those weeks some time. But every year that I played golf in high school, by the first day of school, we had 2 or 3 matches already before school ever even starts. And I'm like,
and you have to get the tournaments
in. But you have to have enough tournaments in. If you back up the uniform start date, like I said,
the middle of November.
Even if the middle of, now you don't have these kids going and having to play 3 golf matches a week for 5 weeks or 3 tennis.
Practice basketball at 6 o'clock.
While also getting early morning practices in.
Because the state beta or whatever activities.
At the end of the day, they're still teenagers, and a lot of them play multiple fall sports. They run cross country and they play tennis. They play volleyball and they play golf. And I know plenty of kids who have had to pick and choose matches or sports that they have to do because they're all being done the same day because they have a 6-week season. If these guys can play these fall sports, cross country, state tennis is usually around the last week of September. Mm-hmm. What's to say it can't be mid-October? Golf state is usually first week of October. Why can't it be the end of October? And cross country state is usually mid-October. Why can't it be the first, second week of November?
Yeah.
And now these guys can play these fall sports at the same comfortable pace they play basketball, where they average 2 games a week. Well, now you can go every week and only have 1 or 2 golf matches, 1 or 2 tennis matches, 1 meet this week. And, these kids can be kids and enjoy all their activities and all their fall sports. And then start basketball.
Yes.
If big schools can do it, there's no reason little schools can't do it.
No.
Just because they don't have football, to me, is not a reason
No.
why they can't start late.
And like I said earlier, you get more and more schools starting more activities. Just the example of Viola and Norfolk starting volleyball this year. Guy Perkins and Southside B Branch, recent additions of 8-man football. So there's just a lot of things going on. And there are fewer and fewer schools available for these early season basketball games. I mean, so much so, and I'm not obviously involved in the scheduling bit, but we just look at what we have done at Westside the last few years covering basketball, and you're playing on the first Tuesday in November a conference game. That's insane.
Because there's nobody else to play at that point. You might go play a classic or a tournament somewhere, but then eventually you're still waiting on some more competition.
Yeah.
If you want to play local, but do you want to drive to Kirby to play? Do you want to drive up to Lead Hill to play? Probably not. Definitely not at the beginning of the year. So, you're exactly right. We talked about that this past year, how soon Westside was starting conference games. Or not, in all the schools. There were other schools within Westside's conference playing conference games first week of November.
Well, and now that the conference has changed, I don't know enough to talk about the other sports since a lot of these teams are new to us, but Guy Perkins is in the conference. They have volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have other sports, but now you go back to the new 2A2. You've got Norfolk and Viola playing volleyball, so that takes away what they can do as far as playing these early season conference games because they might still be playing volleyball.
Exactly.
And so that limits you to Rural, Timbo, Concord, Shirley.
Mammoth.
I don't know if
Mammoth may do volleyball too. We don't even know. I don't even know.
They're moving down from 2A. Volleyball is more common as high you go. But I mean, I was surprised, honestly, when Viola and Norfolk added it.
And it's just going to keep going that way. More and more schools are going to start adding these extra sports, and it's just to me, you just might as well. And the day is coming. It should have. You would hope.
Yeah.
The day is coming, and you hope if more schools continue to add volleyball or 8-man football or whatever they choose, that eventually somebody will speak up and go, okay. And to me, think about all these schools in this area who, first off, all schools, let's just put all Lake area sports schools as a whole.
Yeah.
We have some very, very successful schools in our area.
Yes.
There's not just one. There are multiple schools who have had so much success and have won state championships in different sports in the past 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, that it's insane. Think about cross country. We just talked to Riley. Think about the cross country dynasty at Quitman. Think about the girls golf dynasty at Westside. 10 years ago, Concord boys had a golf dynasty. And think, these guys have so much success in the fall. Think about, and then you have some of the other schools who are right there in this area in fall sports. You always hear, well, this, so-and-so finished third or finished second, finished third, finished fourth, and they're right there.
Yeah.
How much more success could your teams have in the fall if your season was longer, if you had more time to practice? Because think about that. When your season's short, you're playing golf, tennis, running, cross country. When do you get to practice it?
Yeah.
When do you get to practice your fall sports? You're forced to go out on your own time. That's usually a weekend. And now, if you're a 16-year-old kid, when do you have time to decompress?
Be a kid.
Just to be a kid. So, to me, imagine how much more success you could have if you had more time, if you had a month or two to just focus on these fall sports and then turn to basketball when it's time to turn the page.
You should be able to concentrate on what you're doing at the time without having to always worry about what's next.
I agree.
I mean, if you want to play sports in each of the, the fall, the winter, the spring seasons, then you should be able to do that without saying, well, I've got this here, but I've got to practice for this other sport. It just.
So should you, at the end of season, do you think you should wrap up sooner to extend baseball, softball? Or should you?
No one has asked me, but what I would do is about a mid-November start date. I think that's pretty fair. That way you're not dragging it too long for the smaller schools and then that do not participate without hurting the people who are still playing into the volleyball, football playoffs, things like that. I think mid is probably fair to everybody. The thing that I think you could also compress, and without looking at all the larger schools' schedules, is that 1 to 2 period week at the end of the season when no one is playing conference games. Take it away.
Just go straight into
the conference or the district tournament, whatever. If somebody say, well, you've got to make up games. Well, you can make them up as you go. You don't always have to wait till that last week. Everyone has bad weather. People do it in other states, and it's no issue. It can be done here. It's not that big of a deal. So I would mid-November start date, that week or two that no one is playing conference games at the end of the season, cut it out. And then that makes it a more palatable schedule for everyone. It reduces it without cutting anything out, because once you've wrapped up your conference games, or what I know sometimes you can schedule a team in a bigger classification to try to better yourselves or whatever, but a lot of the time you're just playing out this string of the schedule just because it says, well, we've got to play this team that day, and you really don't learn anything about yourself or the other team, or it doesn't really help you build toward, the future, which is the postseason 2 weeks from now when the games actually do matter. So I think those are some of the things you could do, and maybe even instead of cutting those 2 weeks out, this is another alternative, because I don't know enough how it affects the larger schools. I don't think they have as much of a gap.
I don't think so.
But you just push the start of conference back. And so you're playing conference games up until the district tournament.
Well, we talked about it last week. Who's to say, eventually senior high can't go to playing everybody once and rotating every year which school hosts.
Yeah.
And now you've got less pressure to get in 14 conference games or 12 conference games, depending on how big your conference is.
Yeah.
And makes it easier. And you and I have both seen it. Look at this past year, Westside and Whitman girls, both in state championship games. 2 days later, those girls are all on a softball field. Time for the season. Like, okay, let's go. And a lot of schools had already been playing baseball and softball, obviously, because their teams didn't go that far. And you've got these girls playing in state finals games on Thursday and Friday. And then on Saturday, they're off playing softball. They've had no practice. And, it's like, okay, well, no mental time to decompress from basketball postseason. Let's just, here we go.
Yeah. And I think cutting those weeks out, you could move things around just a little bit to say, okay, well, maybe mid-November doesn't work, or maybe the state championships, the district, or the playoffs should start sooner. As long as we're not extending the season to the insane levels it is now, because if you're starting in the middle of October and playing into March, it is a long time to focus on one thing, not just for the kids playing, but the parents going to the games, the people following. And it is just too long of a time to concentrate on one sport. And for everyone, it could be done better. And I think it's time, especially because more people are adding things at the front of the season, more schools are, that it's time for a uniform start date for everyone, both on when you can start practice and when you can start playing games.
Well, we definitely know. We're just broadcast, but players, coaches, parents, broadcasters, officials, it's a long season, and you feel like you're just constantly going for 5 months.
You are, really.
So giving you some time in the middle, I get it, and we'll see. The day may come.
So yeah, leave us your comments on Facebook. We'd like to hear your thoughts and experiences. So we'll have some clips up, I'm sure, but also on the full podcast that will be
if you see
starting tonight.
If you see a clip and, like you said, you have a thought, go back and tune in on the full episode. Hear the whole discussion, because maybe we said something you didn't like, but then maybe we ended up saying something that you liked a little later on.
Just hear something say, well, that's brilliant, and you hear something say, well, that's awful dumb.
Yeah, I thought he had a good idea earlier. Now he's lost all my interest. So sticking with basketball one more time before we go to our next break, shifting to college, we talked a little bit last week about college football expansion. It's kind of a talk. It is no rumor in college basketball, but starting this March 2027, men's and women's March Madness is now 76 teams. So I guess the question, expansion, is are you good with 76, or did we go too far? Did we jump the shark?
I think we got to go all Mike Leach and just let everybody play. Yeah, it's absolutely silly. I mean, you're not talking about anyone who has a legitimate shot of winning the national championship being left out. You're talking about a team in the Big Ten or the ACC or the SEC who went 7-11. I mean, even if they have a legitimate shot, do they deserve it? No. I don't care that they say they played tougher competition, whatever. You don't have a legitimate shot, and if you did, maybe you should have played better in the regular season, and you wouldn't have to worry about not getting selected. But it comes down to money, and all these big programs spending all this millions and millions of dollars to not get into the tournament, so they can get bounced by College of Charleston or whatever. But it's just silly. 68, whatever. I still think 64 is plenty, but people keep talking, oh, there's more leagues, whatever. And every once in a while you'll have a run. I mean, I know people will bring that up. North Carolina State a couple years ago went to the Final Four, I believe, out of the Dayton thing.
It was a Texas Tech team that was like an 11 years back that win.
So every once in a while things like that will happen, but the response to that is be better in the regular season. You can't worry about these freak injuries that may happen because, I'm old enough to remember when Cincinnati had Kenyon Martin. I think that was the guy's name. And they had a legitimate chance to win the national title. I think they were the 1 seed, and then he got hurt right before the NCAA tournament. So things happen. You can't control injuries and whatever. You can't worry about, well, is everybody deserving? Well, define deserving. It's just you're talking about teams that did not have a good regular season, who did not win their conference tournament. Because the majority of these extra teams will be your 7-11 Big Ten team or Big 12 or whatever. You're going to get very few of these. I don't even remember who was supposedly left out from the smaller schools. So it's not about them at all. It's all about people with the money. And they're saying, we're not getting enough of our people in. We're spending all this money. So we need more people. We need more 7-13 ACC teams in. Whatever, play better during the regular season, and you don't have to worry about it. It's too large.
I'm on the fence with this. I think you can't, you definitely can't shrink it. March Madness is its own giant, and you can't, if you tried to take away the funness of the big, huge bracket, there will be, a civil war probably. I'm okay with 76 teams when I saw and realized that, the bracket ain't really expanding. It's just more play-in games. So now it's 2 days with 4 games a day instead of 2. And, we learned right before we came on air, Dayton still will have 4 games, and now Wichita will have 4 games. I'm okay with that, but the part where I'm on the fence is now don't make it any bigger. Like, I'm okay with this, but now to me, I'm like, okay, if they choose to go bigger than 76, they're going to have to just make it a bigger bracket. And at that point, we are just going to have a mess. And it will just kind of be a Mike Leach situation of, okay, just let everybody in this big, gigantic 100 and something odd Goliath of a bracket. But I'm okay with it only because it's one of those things people who don't even watch college basketball for the whole year look forward to and know March Madness. We talk, you and I, about, to me, March Madness is like week 0 for football. We talked about last week if we love week 0, and you and I are both like, shoot, yeah, it means football. So bring it on.
Yeah.
Those first 4 games, it's a tease, because you get about 8 games a day, 16 games a day, those first couple days.
But on those Tuesday and Wednesday,
you get 2 days.
Who is watching it and who remembers?
But the thing for me is that I treat those games like week 0. Because to me, I'm like, it's March Madness time. Now, it ain't Thursday yet, but here's some games to whet your appetite.
And
So-
is it
so
fair
that's
to
me.
those teams having to play Tuesday and then you turn around and play Thursday or Friday? Because you're traveling to a different side as well.
You are, but I think that if you're there playing in the play-in, they've made it very well known that, obviously it's always 2 16 seed games, and those are your conference champions from smaller schools. But then the 11s or the 12s or whatever they end up being that play, the committee makes it very well known those are their last 4 in. So it's almost like okay, y'all are the last 4. Congrats. Figure it out yourself. Who's going to go from here? So did they make it harder on themselves now? Because they have to put in 70. It's like we talked about with college football. Okay, you expanded from 4 to 12 because the 5th seed always complained. Well, who's complaining now? The 13 seed. There's still going to be a gigantic thing on the screen that says next 4 in, first 4 out, next 4 out. Whether you have 76, 64, or 124. I mean, that part you're right. That it's going to be the same no matter what. I'm fine with it, just like I said, just because I look at those games kind of like a way to get ready for, week 0 is to get you ready for the craziness that's going to be week 1 next week with all these huge games. That's to me what the first 4, or I guess, I don't know what it'd be called, the first 8, and on March Madness week to me is like, okay, this gets me ready for when there's 4 games on at once on Thursday and people are highlighting brackets and, regretting their picks, and that's just me. So I'm okay with it, but I would stop here. I wouldn't go any further. But
Do you now treat these first 2 games as part of the actual tournament? Because I know a lot of the bracket challenges do not include them.
they don't make you pick a winner. And that's true. You can, when you're picking, you go down. It's like, okay, you can, do you think that, 6 seed Michigan will win, or do you think 11 seed Texas / Xavier will win? And in your head, you could be thinking, oh, I think Texas will beat them. Well, Texas lost to Xavier, but Xavier beat them. So you look smart, but you're like, shoot, I didn't even think Xavier would get past Texas. Mm-hmm. So maybe you do. Maybe that's something we'll see. I guess ESPN and all those bracket people make you start picking first round winners too, since there's 8 games now. But I don't know. They don't ask us what we want to do. So
You gotta tell them anyway.
we're going to tell them anyway. That's right. Like we said, don't forget to comment. We're going to hear from our sponsors one last time, and we talk about giving some shout outs to our sponsors. We have great sponsors here on Lake Area Takes. We're going to kind of make time every once in a while to highlight specific sponsors. And so one of our cool sponsors that we have is actually a business up down in Greenbrier called Stan Sports Cards. And I am not a sports card guy. Just doesn't interest me, but you're pretty big in it.
Yes.
And you've been to Stan Sports Cards.
I've been to Stan's. Last summer I went in there, just one of the. You see a lot of the cards that he's got, the singles and whatever, posted on Facebook, so you can kind of keep up what he's got going on. Like the Topps Series 2 has just been released for baseball, so you can go out in there and get your packs to rip and everything. Got a lot of cool singles. Last summer I went in there and bought I didn't remember the numberage. It was like 25. It was a Paul Skeens rookie patch card, and they do part of the uniform, whatever. And this patch was pretty sick as far as cards go because it had like half of the pirate logo, the face was in that little patch. That's cool. That was in the card. And it's just, I'm not a big modern sports card person. I do more vintage stuff, but you kept looking, I was wandering around looking at stuff, and that just looked.
And he has a little bit of all of it. He's got some vintage, but he's got
basketball, football, baseball. I think he's got even some non-sports stuff like Pokemon or whatever.
He's got a lot of today people too. So I know he doesn't just do vintage. He's got modern.
Yeah, because that was the schemes that I bought.
Because you got a scheme, so that's testament.
And then Acuna from Atlanta.
I know he's had some Otanis in there, and I heard a few weeks ago. I think at one point he had a Cooper Flag for basketball, the rookie last year out of Duke. So
yeah, you can get all your stuff down. Also supplies. You need boxes and things like that to organize all the stuff that you buy, because let's face it, if you buy sports cards, you can't just buy one. You can't just buy 100. So you can get all that kind of stuff at Stan's. He'll make you a good deal.
And he doesn't, I'm not a card guy, but I like memorabilia.
Yeah.
And he's got, oftentimes he's got jerseys.
If you look on his Facebook page right now, I think there's a Bob Gibson There's some other jerseys, but the Bob Gibson, I think, is the one that caught my eye that he just posted within the last couple of days. So he's got some real cool autograph stuff. I think it was authenticated by JSA, which is one of the big authentication firms.
He almost lured me in once. He had a Shaq come in, which clearly he told me, he said, I've got a Shaq on my wall right now from the Lakers. And I waited too long. Somebody was pretty quick to get to it. But yeah, go see Stan, though.
Yeah, he's got some cool stuff, some cards, some memorabilia, autographs. If you need some supplies to organize, you can get them there too.
And most importantly, when you go, tell him you heard about him on Lake Area Takes.
Yes.
So let's hear from our sponsors, and we'll start with Stan Sports Cards. We'll be back to wrap up the show right after this.
Are you a sports card collector? Then make your next stop Stan's Sports Cards in Greenbrier. Whether you're chasing vintage legends or today's hottest rookies, Stan's Sports Cards has something for every sports fan. Browse an incredible selection of sports cards, jerseys, memorabilia, and collectibles from your favorite teams and players. Looking to sell? Stan's Sports Cards is actively buying vintage and modern sports cards. Turn those cards sitting in a box into cash today. Visit Stan's Sports Cards at 26 South Broadview, Highway 65, in Greenbrier, open Tuesdays through Fridays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Looking for farm fresh beef for your family? Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company has you covered. Choose from a whole, half, or a quarter beef, or purchase individual packaged cuts. Our cattle are locally raised, and your beef is processed at a trusted local facility for quality you can taste. Best of all, your order is picked up and hand-delivered locally right to your door by Eddie Whitehurst. Call Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company today and put farm-raised beef on your family's table.
Ready for your next beach getaway? Discover the perfect vacation with Willock Condo Rentals. Enjoy beautiful beachfront condos in Navarre Beach and Panama City Beach, Florida. When you book directly with the owner, you'll pay no service fees, saving more money for fun in the sun. For over 15 years, Willock Condo Rentals has helped families create unforgettable beach memories with comfortable accommodations and breathtaking Gulf views. Start planning your next vacation today. Contact Willock Condo Rentals and experience the beach the way it was meant to be. Hungry? We've got you covered. Welcome to Bentley's Restaurant, Greer's Ferry's largest restaurant. Join us for breakfast and lunch every Tuesday and Wednesday, then come back Thursday through Saturday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. From homemade omelets and our Saturday breakfast buffet to fresh salads, daily lunch specials, and hand-cut ribeyes cut as big as you want them, there's something for everyone. Friday and Saturday nights are legendary with our seafood buffet featuring jumbo peel and eat shrimp, catfish, crawfish, and all your favorites. Plus, don't miss our delicious prime rib on Saturday nights and our crab leg dinner every Friday and Saturday. Whether you're joining us for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you'll always find great food, generous portions, and friendly service. Bentley's Restaurant in Greer's Ferry. Come hungry, bring your friends, and make every meal one to remember.
Discover Little Red at Indian Hills, where good food, great views, and Arkansas hospitality come together in Fairfield Bay. Enjoy lunch or dinner with comfortable indoor seating, a relaxing outdoor patio, and barbecue available Thursday through Saturday. From golfers fresh off the course to locals and visitors alike, Little Red is the place to gather, eat well, and unwind. Little Red at Indian Hills. Good food, great views, and a Fairfield Bay favorite.
I'll tell you one thing we can't keep doing is showing Bentleys and Little Red back to back. For making you hungry for sure. Speaking of Little Red, don't forget Riley Hooten, our guest this week, chose the word of the week, and it is excellence. So don't forget to comment excellence and tag Little Red for a chance to win a $25 gift certificate, and we'll announce the winner next week. Kind of become I guess we're batting 100 on Love It or Leave It. It's kind of, we've done it every week so far. Just throwing out some little things and talking about whether or not we like it, or I need to read how you sent these to me, because one of your ways of wording something made me laugh. I'll find it in a second. So let's get into it, whether we love it or would leave it, and let's start with baseball. If you're a baseball lover, you know there's a National League and an American League. Should baseball do away with it altogether and just go to conferences and do East and West?
I'm as much about history and the tradition of baseball as the next person. However, now that Major League Baseball did the evil thing and forced the designated hitter on the National League, there's really not a reason to have a National League and American League anymore. It would sicken me if they take it away just because of the history of these teams, but there's just really no reason to do that anymore. And if you're trying to get regional rivalries and things like that, I mean, you've got teams from Atlanta to San Francisco in the National League. I mean, we're not talking about that long ago, at the early 1990s, because baseball didn't change anything. Right. When San Francisco and Atlanta were both in the National League West.
Which makes no sense.
Which makes no sense, because that's how it had been when the Braves were in Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. And the Braves have not been in Milwaukee since the 1960s. Mm-hmm. So you could argue, well, that's how things needed to be because of the smaller number of teams and the history, and that the leagues were different. The American League had the DH, the National League didn't. That's all gone now. And there's really not any reason to stick with what we're doing. Baseball is about to make a ton of changes probably. We may not even start the season on time next year because of contracts disputes between the players and the league. So it's time to look at it. And especially if they're going to bring in 2 more teams, you got to even things out a bit. And I think it's time to do it, because as much as I would like to say no, keep it the NL and the AL, bring back the differences. If you're going to bring back one league without a DH, I'm all for keeping things as they are. But right now, we're just playing out the string because we have done this forever, and that's not a smart way to run an organization.
I think that, first off, going back to your San Francisco-Atlanta point, in some instances that really has not changed. There's still a division in the AL right now where the Texas Rangers and the Houston Astros share a division with the Seattle, Anaheim, and the currently homeless Athletics. But so still, 2 Texas, 3 Northwest makes no sense. I agree with you. I think I don't mind the DH rule being the rule everywhere. I do miss the strategicness of having your pitcher bat. Do we pull him out of the game now for a pinch hitter?
Double switch.
Do you do a double switch? I do miss the strategy of it, but I think ever since I was a kid, everybody knew that one day the day would come when there would be a DH league-wide. So I'm okay with that. But, yeah, I agree with you. If we're gonna have new rules next year anyway, and we are going to expand a little bit, let's just make life easier on everybody. And, the NBA is actually a lot better at it than a lot of sports on making your divisions tight-knit. As a Celtics fan, I know we hate our division, but it's New York, it's Brooklyn, it's Toronto, it's Philly, and those are all right there in the Northeast, and it makes sense. And so I'm fine with it. Go East and West, make the divisions look normal on a map.
The only sport I think that can get away with keeping things as it is the NFL. And that's because you only play 1 game a week.
Right. I agree. All right. College football jerseys. Now, even when I was a kid, it was cool if your team had 1 alternate jersey. You had 2, and there was one that you wore at home every week, and there was one that you wore on the road. And if you mixed and matched one random week of the year, it was like, oh, this is our alternate uniform week. That was even when I was a kid. Nowadays, every week, the jersey is different. A lot of times these schools now have announcements on it's all white week, it's all black week, it's all red week. And you're like, I didn't even know, now you got schools who are wearing colors that ain't even their school colors half the time. This was the one that I laughed at when you sent me the list for suggestions this week. Multiple alternate uniform designs or changing uniforms week to week. Cool or atrocious? I don't know why the word atrocious made me laugh. The only school when I was a kid that ever did this was Oregon, and it made them unique because as a college football video game player when I was, a kid and a teenager, most schools, again, you had three options. You had a home, an away, and an alternate.
And not everybody had three
and
options.
not even everybody had an alternate. And then you can go play as Oregon, and it takes you 10 minutes to start the game because you're trying to match up helmet colors with jersey colors because they got all kinds of options. To me, it's like the thing with the bracket. I think it's okay if you have multiple, but there is a point when you should stop. As a Razorback fan, I think right now the Razorbacks have got the red, the all white, and that's fine with me. Break out that white helmet once or twice a year and call it good. So I'm fine with it, but I don't want every school to go Oregon crazy with it. Let's just leave the Oregon crazy to Oregon, and then everybody else can just do what they want.
Yeah, I agree. The organization of college football has just gone insane. Like you talked about the videos they put out every week to let you know what color combination they're wearing. It's just gotten insane.
Based on where you're sitting, we're striping out the arena. So find your ticket section and you're white this week or you're red this week.
Yeah.
I know when we went to Fayetteville for the Texas game 4 years ago when the Razorbacks upset Texas, they put that thing out and I had to get on and find my section and make sure I told our group, hey, we're supposed to wear red or else we'll stick out like sore thumbs in the stripes. It's just kind of what it is now.
I'm just old or cranky or whatever you want to call me, but I've never paid attention to that. And thankfully, a good number, of BSU fans, not either, because they were going to have pink out night. It's like, whatever. Yeah. I'm going to wear whatever shirt I want to wear.
I don't really care. My red and black.
Yeah, I mean, it's bizarre. And it's just silly. It's like you should have a home uniform and a road uniform, and you should not match colors. And, we're going to wear the black pants with the white tops and the red helmet. It's like, what in the world is that?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it doesn't look good anymore.
No, it's insane. And it's like, we're going to have, with us, we've got the state logo and then you got the Red Wolf logo. And so they matched and mixed all that kind of stuff. Like a uniform is called a uniform because it is a uniform. So
that's the quote.
So make it one. You have a road set and a home set. If you want to have one alternative, whatever, I wouldn't do that. But I'm old and cranky. Have a uniform for a uniform, and everybody knows when you walk out at home, you're wearing X uniform, and they know what to look for. They don't have to worry about, well, what shirt color should I wear or whatever. It's getting insane. It's stop.
This one may cause some stir. World Cup is going on right now. This was the way, again, when I got your list. I should just read the whole description. Do Americans really care, or is it a pretend distraction?
100% pretend distraction. I mean, people will show up because, and I'm not going to say this in a bad way, it's a chance to be, I don't even know what word you want to use, to pull together. It's kind of like the Olympics or whatever.
I was about to say, do you find this like Olympic?
Yeah.
Olympic-y.
And at least the Olympics, you've got different things, whether it's track or the bobsled or whatever they do in the Olympics. But soccer, people don't care on average. I mean, there are some hardcore soccer fans and stuff, but do people really care to watch Brazil against Uzbekistan in the United States? The only reason that anybody's watching it in the World Cup was because America's involved, and it happened to be here this time. So I think this is the second time in recent memory, the last 30 years or so, that the U.S. has hosted the World Cup. So people have had to act like they care. But do they really do the people on average really understand soccer or care about it? Or are they just looking for something to do in the middle of the summer? And I think it's looking for something to do in the middle of the summer.
I have nothing against soccer, the sport. It is the most played, covered, worldwide sport, obviously. Not in America, but in the world as a whole. However, I am not a fan. I don't get intrigued watching soccer. And I have not watched 1 minute of World Cup soccer this year.
Same.
And I have been amazed at my place of work or people at church, or just when I see people who just tell me, it's like, boy, that match last night. And I'm like, everybody around me is watching it, and I'm like, you don't watch soccer ever. And it's like full investment, full. What did you catch that game last night with Egypt and Spain? And I'm like, no, I didn't. I didn't catch America's 3 wins so far either. It's a cool story, and I'm happy that America made it as far as they did because they were a Cinderella for the World Cup. Good on them. But I didn't tune in, and I probably honestly, only chance I would have ever tuned in was if they somehow made the finals, and I don't even know that I would have watched it then. But it's just because I'm not a soccer guy. But I think you're right. I think that it's treated like the Olympics because, let's face it, do you watch,
You're not watching curling.
Do you watch curling on off years besides the Olympics? Or do you watch, the thing where they put the rock on their shoulder and throw it, except for every 4 years?
Shot put.
The shot put. Like, we don't watch that stuff until the Olympics. And we watch it because we're America and we want America to win. I don't watch swimming except for every 4 years. And to me, it's the same with soccer. And even
bobsled, whatever.
And even in the Olympics, I don't watch soccer. So that's just me. I'm not a soccer guy. But you're right. I think we treat it as a pretend distraction.
I was going to say, to wrap up that discussion, you talked about the people talking about it. We must run in different circles because I have talked to no one who has mentioned soccer at any point in time in the last month.
It is. I fear it mainly it's the people that I work with, but I'm just like, you have never once talked soccer to me, and I know you don't watch it regularly. The only person that I know in my life that if they came up to me and talked about soccer, that I would go, okay. There's actually 2 people. One's a friend, but then my dad watches the
MLS?
No, what's the big one in Europe? The Champions League. My dad watches the Champions League. He watches Real Madrid, and he watches all that. And he has since I was a kid. So if my dad came up to me and talked World Cup, I would go, oh yeah, that's cool. I didn't catch the game. When these other guys do, I'm like, you don't know, you don't know nothing.
Yeah. When people walk up and talk soccer, not again that I've had that, I want to always say, okay, if you really know soccer, explain to me that offsides rule. Then we can have a conversation.
Yep. And they don't have a clue. And I don't either. So, is 5-year eligibility good for college sports?
No, but I think it's got to be done with all this craziness with the NIL. I mean, obviously, if we could go back in time and do the 4 and make it the standard, which, it has been, time immemorial ever since they allowed freshmen to start playing. I can't remember when that was, in the 60s or 70s.
Yeah.
Then it should 4 years to play, or 5 years to get 4 years in is fine. 5 years to get 5 in, it's going to hurt some people, especially the people who are starting college now. Give them less opportunities because you're going to have people hang on for another year now. But I think with all the things going on in college sports now, is the change that had to be made. I don't like it. I would kick and scream and drag my feet and all of that and say it stinks. But with all this big business that's involved, I think this is one of the things that fixes things where they don't have these people who are eligible for 9 years like that tied in Miami. Is it trying to play 9 years of college football? No. So I think it's a solution. I don't like it, but it had to be done.
Anything that keeps us, and I know that 2020 couldn't be helped because of COVID, and I think they did the right thing by allowing everybody an extra year because it threw everything off. And then all this NIL stuff comes in at the same time, and the transfer portal becomes a thing. And so now you've got people who are playing college football. I'm 30 years old, and I'm watching people play college football that are just barely younger than I am in their 7th year of eligibility. That is ridiculous to me. Anything outside of COVID makes it ridiculous.
Yes.
I agree. 5 years to play 5-year eligibility to play 4 years is fine, and I'm good with that. But like you said, let's keep it at that. And I feel like I've said it about multiple things today, but this is fine. But let's not go any further than what we're at right here. Last one. Let's go back to baseball. We could put a lot of people in this blank for a name, but let's do Barry Bonds. Is Barry Bonds a Major League Baseball Hall of Famer? I'll start this one and say yes. whether it's PEDs, the steroids, Pete Rose and gambling, baseball has had so many mess ups, and I don't want to say cover ups because that's not really what it is, but just things they've had to investigate and crack down on.
Going back to 1919.
All the way back to the Black Sox. They've had stuff, and it's just part of what makes baseball baseball. Do you really have that much anymore? No, but something else will probably happen in the next 100 years that'll be a baseball thing. But some of your best baseball players were named on this list, or on these lists of people that can never be eligible. Pete Rose, Roger Clemens, some of these guys. And to me, Barry Bonds is one of the best hitters in the game. And the crazy part is, I don't remember Barry Bonds in Pittsburgh. That was before I was born. My childhood was the big Barry Bonds in San Francisco hitting them in the water. That was my childhood of Barry Bonds. However, watching back, Barry Bonds was one of the best hitters and one of the best outfielders in baseball before he ever bulked up on steroids. And Roger Clemens was a phenomenal pitcher before he ever got big on steroids. Pete Rose was one of the best baseball players of all time before he got caught gambling. If you're they've messed up and they've done wrong, but their legacy may be something different. But if your Hall of Fame is based on the best players in our sport belong here, yes, Barry Bonds needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, I absolutely agree. Barry Bonds is the only member in the history of baseball of the 500 home run, 500 stolen base club. He has more walks than the entire Tampa Bay Rays franchise. There's just two of the stats. We can read some more. 7-time MVP, 14-time All-Star, 12-time Silver Slugger, 8-time Gold Glove Award. People talked about his defense at the end of the career, whatever. A 2-time batting champion. Only the second player in the 40-40 club. That's 40 homers, 40 stolen bases in a season. He's the all-time leader in home runs in a season and a career. You can say whatever you want to say about Barry Bonds and the cream and the clear, the steroids, the PEDs, the whatever. And it could all be true. And did he do it? Probably so. But the one thing, while it may have been illegal, it was not against the rules of Major League Baseball. And that is kind of the difference between Barry Bonds and Pete Rose. And I'm not saying Pete Rose shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. It's just Pete Rose broke the rules of baseball. Barry Bonds did not. Could Barry Bonds be in jail for what he supposedly did? Yes. But that's a different thing. He should still be in the Hall of Fame because he is one of the greatest players that has ever played baseball, one of the most feared hitters. I mean, you just flip around on Facebook Reels now, and I guess you hear about John Smoltz and Greg Maddux talking about having to pitch to Barry Bonds. Like, the guy basically got 2 balls to hit in a game, in a series or whatever, and he's hit them out of the ballpark just because he has those few opportunities, and he was just so good at what he did, and sure did the PEDs help. I don't know that it helped. I mean, obviously he was more bulked up at the end of his career. But if you keep Barry Bonds out too, and this kind of goes to you've got you talked about the Clemens as your potentially McGuire and people like that. And those are just the people, the A-Rod, those are just the people that we know about. In that era, we have no idea who was doing what.
There's no telling how many are currently in.
Yes.
That did it.
Yeah.
You're right.
We have no idea.
No way of knowing.
So to single out, and I know Barry is a very unlikable guy for a lot of people and was not a very nice person, supposedly, to the media and the people who have votes in this thing. Which is another weird thing about the baseball thing, is it's how the voting is done. So, yes, Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame because he is one of the greatest players who ever played baseball. He did things that no one ever did. And if he had retired before ever going to San Francisco, if he had retired as a Pittsburgh Pirate, we would not even be having this discussion because he still did Hall of Fame things as a Pirate.
all those stats that you just read, all of them
Yeah.
make his portfolio just incredible. But the very first one you read, he's the only, you said only, that means him,
Yes.
the only 500,
He's it.
and 7 MVPs. He is in alone on those two things.
Yes.
I mean, all the rest of those things you read make his resume even greater. But when a guy stands alone in a club like that, 500, and he's won 7 MVPs, imagine the NFL, the NBA, hockey, any of those that give out MVPs. Imagine having a 7-time MVP not in your Hall of Fame.
That's just stupid.
How stupid is that? When you say it like that, how ridiculous is that to name somebody your sport's most valuable player 7 times, but we're not going to put him in our Hall of Fame?
Yeah, you made me mad. You hurt my feelings when I covered this sport. You think that I've done something, again, whatever he did was likely illegal, assuming he did it. I'm going to assume that he did. But again, not against the rules of Major League Baseball, which is a huge difference.
Yeah. So good stuff this week for hot takes. We may have to have a segment one day about everybody who does belong in the Hall of Fame for different reasons. One segment we debuted last week that was a big hit, we liked it, was This Week in Animal Takes. We saw a very mental gentleman who has a coyote as a dog. Not quite as strange this week, a little more understandable, but I like this one. So what do we got this week?
A lamb who thinks it's a dog. It hangs instead of I can't even talk now after all this time. Instead of hanging around with the other lambs, it runs around with a big old dog and runs all around. You can see this. The River Jordan Network is the Facebook page that you can follow the travails of the lamb. They've got some funny videos they put out, especially early in this process where they said day 38 or week 15 of trying to convince our lamb that is not a puppy.
Let's show
Full video.
Let's show y'all what he's talking about here.
When I wake up, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. When I go out, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. If I get drunk, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who gets drunk next to you. And if I heaver, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who's heavering to you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more to be the man.
Where's your lamb?
1,000 miles to fall down and shoot.
So if you decide to go for a 2-mile hike, you gotta check in with me. Come on.
Next week's guest is going to be David Grimes. He played high school ball here in the Lake area for baseball and then went on to play semi-professional for the St. Louis Cardinals. Ended up with the Travelers for a little bit.
And he pitched Arkansas Tech first and then several years in the Cardinals organization.
So won't be as funny to us saying it a second time around, but this is not a 2026 photo of David Grimes. This was throwback to his days with the Travelers. So we'll talk some baseball with a former professional next week and set up will look a little different. John and I won't be here in the studio next week, but the show will go on. So be sure you tune in. You can follow us on Facebook, find the shows on Lake Area Sports Facebook page, leave your comments. Don't forget this week's word of the week, chosen by our guest Riley Hooten, is excellence. Put that in the comments, tag Little Red Restaurant, and you have a chance to win a $25 gift certificate to Little Red. You can find all our episodes on our YouTube channel as well and on Spotify. Just search Lake Area Takes. And that's going to do it for episode 3. And it's been a good one.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for Riley Hooten for joining us as well, talking about our journey as a player at Quitman and now officiating at high school and college. And we'll have another great guest next week.
So thanks for joining us, and y'all have a great week, and we'll see you next week on Lake Area Takes.
Are you a sports card collector? Then make your next stop Stan's Sports Cards in Greenbrier. Whether you're chasing vintage legends or today's hottest rookies, Stan's Sports Cards has something for every sports fan. Browse an incredible selection of sports cards, jerseys, memorabilia, and collectibles from your favorite teams and players. Looking to sell? Stan's Sports Cards is actively buying vintage and modern sports cards. Turn those cards sitting in a box into cash today. Visit Stan's Sports Cards at 26 South Broadview, Highway 65, in Greenbrier, open Tuesdays through Fridays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Looking for farm fresh beef for your family? Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company has you covered. Choose from a whole, half, or a quarter beef, or purchase individual packaged cuts. Our cattle are locally raised, and your beef is processed at a trusted local facility for quality you can taste. Best of all, your order is picked up and hand-delivered locally right to your door by Eddie Whitehurst. Call Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company today and put farm-raised beef on your family's table.
Ready for your next beach getaway? Discover the perfect vacation with Willock Condo Rentals. Enjoy beautiful beachfront condos in Navarre Beach and Panama City Beach, Florida. When you book directly with the owner, you'll pay no service fees, saving more money for fun in the sun. For over 15 years, Willock Condo Rentals has helped families create unforgettable beach memories with comfortable accommodations and breathtaking Gulf views. Start planning your next vacation today. Contact Willock Condo Rentals and experience the beach the way it was meant to be. Hungry? We've got you covered. Welcome to Bentley's Restaurant, Greers Ferry's largest restaurant. Join us for breakfast and lunch every Tuesday and Wednesday, then come back Thursday through Saturday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. From homemade omelets and our Saturday breakfast buffet to fresh salads, daily lunch specials, and hand-cut ribeyes cut as big as you want them, there's something for everyone. Friday and Saturday nights are legendary with our seafood buffet featuring jumbo peel and eat shrimp, catfish, crawfish, and all your favorites. Plus, don't miss our delicious prime rib on Saturday nights and our crab leg dinner every Friday and Saturday. Whether you're joining us for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you'll always find great food, generous portions, and friendly service. Bentley's Restaurant in Greers Ferry. Come hungry, bring your friends, and make every meal one to remember.
Discover Little Red at Indian Hills, where good food, great views, and Arkansas hospitality come together in Fairfield Bay. Enjoy lunch or dinner with comfortable indoor seating, a relaxing outdoor patio, and barbecue available Thursday through Saturday. From golfers fresh off the course to locals and visitors alike, Little Red is the place to gather, eat well, and unwind. Little Red at Indian Hills. Good food, great views, and a Fairfield Bay favorite.